The types and rules of absolute waters 4.8. Absolute waters are divided into 5 categories based on whether they are pure and purifying or not. 1. Waters that are pure and purifying and free from impurity. Any. Absolute water whose 3 characteristics, color, taste, smell, are unchanged and which contains nothing that would make it impure falls into this category. This water is both drinkable and usable in food and can also be used for all kinds of cleaning. 2. Water that is clean and purifying but is also MAKRUH. Water drunk by pets such as house cats, or by predatory birds such as hawks and falcons, or by animals such as mice, which are common in houses, falls into this category. Drinking such water when other water is available or using it for food or cleaning is disliked. 3. Water that is clean but not purifying. These are waters used on the body for worship to remove Hades, ruling impurity of impurity. Water used for ABDEST and GUSUL in this way is called MÜSTAMEL, used water. Example: water used and collected by a Muslim who is not in a state of ablution on all or part of the limbs required for ablution, or water used by a Muslim in a state of ritual impurity on their entire body, falls under this category. Water collected by a Muslim who has performed ABDEST by taking ABDEST in a different place with the intention of reward, or by taking ABDEST again in the same place after performing a worship, is also included in this category. Similarly, the water used for washing hands before and after meals, in accordance with the Sunnah of our Prophet, is also considered clean. Although such water is clean and removes physical impurities, it cannot remove ritual impurities, such as the state of being impure. Ablution, wudu, and ritual bath, ghusl, cannot be performed with this water. According to Imam Muhammad, such used water is clean but not purifying. The fatwa is based on this view. However, according to Imam Azam and Imam Yusuf, this water is not clean. It is considered impure. According to an opinion narrated from Imam Malik and Imam Shafi'i, these used waters are both clean and purifying. However, using them a second time is disliked, for these are unclean waters. Water in which it is certainly known or strongly suspected that impurities have fallen. Such water is impure. However, if impurities fall into water that is considered large, such as wells and pools, and change one of the 3 characteristics of that water, taste, color, or smell, then this large water also becomes impure. Otherwise, large bodies of water do not become impure by the falling of impurity into them unless they lose one of their characteristics. The same applies to flowing water. Thus, large bodies of water and flowing water share the same ruling. Still waters that are not flowing are considered large if they are square in shape and have a surface area of 100 ARSHIN, or if they are circular and have a circumference of 36 ARSHIN. Anything less than this measure is considered small water. As for flowing water, whether it is little or much, it is considered large water, large pools. Such flowing water is clean and purifying unless one of its 3 characteristics is changed or corrupted by a falling impurity. Their depth is irrelevant. For water taken with the hand, it is sufficient for it to be considered a large body of water if the bottom of the water is not exposed. For water to be considered flowing, it must carry at least 1 straw. 5. Doubtful MEŠKÜK waters. These are waters left by donkeys and mules. Even if such water is clean, it is doubtful whether it is sufficient to remove impurity, the legal impurity called Hades. More information on this subject will be provided later. 4.9. When a person is in a state of ABDEST. The water used to perform ABDEST solely for the purpose of cooling off or teaching another person how to perform ABDEST is both clean and purifying. Similarly, if someone takes ablution again in the same, gathering before their ablution is broken, and without performing any worship with that ablution, the accumulated water is clean and purifying. The same applies to water used to wash a clean container or clean clothing. This is because nitrogen monoxide material or legal cleansing was performed with this water. However, people dislike such used water. It is considered harmful to health. Unless absolutely necessary, such water should not be drunk or used for cooking. It should not be used for ablution or ritual bathing. 50 when pure, natural water is mixed with used, contaminated water. The following applies if the original clean water is twice as much as the mixed used water. It can be used to remove impurity. If the opposite is true, if the mixed used water is twice as much as the clean water, it cannot remove impurity, Hades, and GUSUL cannot be performed when the amounts of both waters are equal. The ruling remains the same as a precaution.